So one of the reasons, as I say, the Justice Department isn't trusted is because of the corruption involved in the protecting and the targeting of Donald Trump. And I talked to you last week about these astonishing records, these declassified materials we received from the FBI, documenting FBI interviews with Justice Department official Bruce Ohr, who told the FBI that the Clinton-Fusion GPS spy Christopher Steele was desperate to stop Trump. They show that Ohr was working with his wife Nellie, who worked with Christopher Steele and the Clinton-Fusion GPS gang, to launder information into the Justice Department and into the FBI. In fact, he was giving them materials. And all sorts of other astonishing information, such as the FBI had it in for President Trump and was trying to investigate him through this improper process of using Bruce Ohr as a cutout to talk to the Clinton camp, Fusion GPS. This is after he was elected and after he was president. Incredible documents, uncovered by the media, by the way. Other than our friends at Fox News and some independent media online, none of the big media have covered the extraordinary disclosures in this historic release of FBI materials about the Donald Trump investigation. I thought they were interested in the Donald Trump investigation. Oh no, they're not. They're only interested in anything that makes Donald Trump look bad because they're part of the coup cabal. If there are documents coming out showing FBI or DOJ corruption, the media ain't interested in it. And that's why you always have to turn to Judicial Watch to get the truth about what's going on, about the greatest corruption scandal in American history, which is the taking over of the government agencies, intelligence, state, defense, by the political operation of the Obama White House and the Clinton campaign to target President Trump and to protect Hillary Clinton. So we get this historic release of information last week. And then we get another batch of documents this week. And it was a separate lawsuit that we had filed showing that we had asked for documents separately, asking for communications with Fusion GPS and Nellie Ohr and things like that. So we had to sue separately for that, in addition to the lawsuit we had for the FBI 302 reports that were released to us last week. And we've been getting documents there showing that Nellie Ohr had it in with the Justice Department. But this is the big batch. This is 300 pages. Well over 300 pages, 330 pages, showing what exactly Bruce Ohr took from Nellie and gave to the Justice Department and the FBI. And it's incredible material. They show that Nellie Ohr was sending material from Fusion GPS to her husband, because the FBI notes detail that the transfer took place, and she was coming up with some crazy garbage about Donald Trump. There's a report called Who, September 2016. So this is I'm going to find it here, forgive me. I do prepare for these presentations I give to you, but there's a lot of material we're dealing with here. So unlike the folks you see pretend to give you news on TV, I'm trying to figure out what the truth is before I go on here. And this is the document that Nellie Ohr provided to her husband because of Fusion GPS and Clinton. So this is a Clinton document. And remember, in the 302s, Bruce Ohr said that he gave the material, the FBI acknowledged they got the material from Nellie Ohr with the Fusion GPS material struck through. So they were trying to disguise the origin of the material. And these documents show that Nellie Ohr was sending Bruce Ohr all this dossier garbage. There's even reference in text messages to the P dossier or the yellow dossier, which is that outrageous defamatory smear tying President Trump to some weird activities in Russia. And here she comes up with this chart. There's about 80 names of Russians and others that she tries to Trump world. And it didn't matter. It was, as I say, an insane version of 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon. I don't know if you've ever heard of that, but I may be dating myself. Am I dating myself, guys? No, my colleagues are saying no. So the line is, take Kevin Bacon, and you can take anyone in the country, and they'll be 6 degrees away from Kevin Bacon. You can tie him to Kevin Bacon. Well, imagine doing that for a figure like Donald Trump. That's what was this dossier, except it's the Russified version of it. And the document shows the list of individuals allegedly linked to Trump and Trump world generally include a Russian involved in a gangland killing, a Uzbek mafia don, a former KGB officer suspected in the murder of a Westerner, a Russian who reportedly buys up banks and pumps them dry, a Russian money launderer for Sergei Magnitsky, a Turk accused of shipping oil for ISIS, a couple who lent their name to the Trump Institute promoting its, quote, get-rich-quick schemes, and this is my favorite. She also tries to figure out who was the guy who allegedly poured Trump a drink in Moscow. That's how crazy this is. So you've got this chart given to the FBI through her husband, Bruce Ohr, created with Clinton-DNC campaign funds, that is just 10 pages, 80 names of a crazy conspiracy theory. I tell you what, if you walked into a room and you saw all this type of material on the wall with all the strings connecting everyone to Trump, you'd say, who's the crazy person who came up with this? Yet this was the basis for the FBI spying on President Trump. Nellie Ohr, whose husband worked at the Justice Department, was hired by Fusion GPS. It's now apparent why they hired her. It was like hiring the Justice Department. Think about this. You're at work and your spouse is sending you material at work all the time, and you're telling your colleagues to use it? Why would you think that's appropriate? Certainly as a Justice Department official. The documents also show she sent around a Manafort chronology. I didn't know that Nellie Ohr was involved in helping the FBI with the Manafort investigation. Did you? I wonder if Paul Manafort knows that. Also, Bruce Ohr helps connect some of his colleagues doing another criminal investigation with his wife. By the way, that whole situation is the subject of a criminal investigation, or at least ought to be, because Nellie Ohr said, I wasn't doing anything for the Justice Department. She may as well have had a desk at the Justice Department. Hillary Clinton may as well have had a desk at the Justice Department because Nellie Ohr was doing her bidding. Creating this garbage dossier, sending it to her husband, who's voluntarily printing it out or handling, according to the 302 reports, handing it to the FBI. What's going on here, folks? I'll tell you what's going on here. By the way, none of this stuff is credible. It's obvious on its face it's not credible. As I told you, read the dossier. You'll see it's ridiculous. And of course, it wasn't panning out. In January 2017, Comey admitted this is the day he ambushed President Trump, President-elect Trump, with it, after a meeting with Obama and Biden in the Oval Office, by the way. He admitted it was salacious and unverified. Mueller, in his report, admits the dossier is unverified. It wasn't panning out, yet they were telling a FISA court repeatedly it was good stuff, and they knew it wasn't. They knew their agent, their Christopher Steele informant, was compromised. They knew it was politicized because they were desperate to stop Trump. Both Fusion GPS, obviously, and Peter Strzok with his insurance policy. What was going on? They were desperate to stop Trump. So what were they doing? They were vacuuming up anything to backfill the file with materials that said Trump and Russia in the same document. It didn't matter whether it was valid. It didn't matter whether it had checked out. They just wanted it in the file, so they had justification to target the president with an unprecedented spy operation, force a special counsel to try to remove him from office and put him in jail. That's what was going on. And we proved it. And this is why the media doesn't want to talk about it, because we proved it. This is the dirty laundry of the coup cabal. It's been gotten by Judicial Watch as a result of FOIA litigation. But it's not over, because we get this one batch of documents. I tell you, we get the material. It's 300 pages. We got to look at it carefully. And then we get more material Nellie Ohr is sending. She isn't even just limiting her contacts to her husband. She's talking to his staff. Bruce Ohr was running essentially the international crime section of the Justice Department. And Nellie Ohr is sending email after email after email, anti-Trump material as well, to his staffer, who is a Russia expert as well. And the emails, it's Russia language news reports. I haven't translated them. Why is that, on what earth is that appropriate? So we know Christopher Steele was an informant for the FBI, right? Who worked for Hillary Clinton. Nellie Ohr was an informant for the Justice Department through her husband. It was a partnership. So I don't know if the Justice Department's looking into this outrage. Presumably they are. People often say, well, does the Justice Department know about this? These are Justice Department documents. They've been hiding them from us. The FBI 302 reports have been hidden from us. This is an unprecedented attack on the president. And when you see these documents, Bruce Ohr conspiring with the FBI to launder this garbage from his political agent wife and the foreign spy Chris Steele. It was an international coup effort. It was sedition. And the fact that a grand jury hasn't hauled all these people in a public way to question them under oath is a miscarriage of justice. And you think the IG is going to make the conclusions I'm drawing for you here? No way, Jose. It's not going to happen. But you can trust Judicial Watch to keep on getting the goods here. Where's Congress on this? Nowhere to be found. Absolutely nowhere to be found. I mean, I'm happy to do the work. My colleagues are happy and honored to be able to do this work at Judicial Watch, but isn't it outrageous? Isn't it outrageous that Judicial Watch has to do all the heavy lifting? And we have to fight tooth and nail the Justice Department to get the information out? About, as I said, the worst corruption scandal of all time. And virtually every important thing we know about it is because of Judicial Watch's pressure.